All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, the fun-filled action of the regular season in the National Football League is now in the rearview mirror. January is here, which means that the intensity has ratcheted up to another level. It's the postseason. 14 teams remain in their quest for the coveted Vince Lombardi Trophy. And for the first time, since 1990, there is expansion in the postseason in the NFL, as we have 14 clubs as opposed to the 12 teams that we have grown accustomed to seeing. Now, with that said, we have a pair of triple headers on tap, one tomorrow as well as one Sunday. And with that said, let's see who's going to advance from the wild card round to the divisional round in the NFL playoffs. Now, you're going to have the 13-3 Buffalo Bills, champions of the AFC East, hosting the 11-5 Indianapolis Colts. Both of these teams come into this contest with good defenses. You look at Indianapolis as they specialize in forcing turnovers, while the Bills are stout at every level of the defense, and they can make life tough for an opposing offense. I look at the difference of this game right now being the play of Buffalo's offense. We saw them hang 56 on the Miami Dolphins last week in week number 17 at home. But you look at the way the Bills quarterback Josh Allen is playing this year. He's playing like an MVP. He's coming into his own, and the acquisition of wide receiver Stephon Diggs has really helped him, as this Buffalo vertical threat has been the best it has been since the days of Jim Kelly and Andre Reed. Speaking of that Bills defense, they're going to go out there and try to rush Colts quarterback Phillip Rivers, who has never been mobile throughout his NFL career, and they're going to go out there and look to make life tough on him. For the first time all season long, the Bills will have fans in the stands, and this is their first home playoff game since the 1995 NFL season. I guarantee you that these Bills fans, the 96 NFL season, but I guarantee you these fans are going to be charged up for this one, as I'm going to take Buffalo at home by the score of 34-24. Now, it's going to be a showdown of NFC West rivals, as you're going to have the 12-4 Seattle Seahawks, champions of the NFC West, hosting the 10-6 Los Angeles Rams. Both of these teams met twice, obviously, during the regular season, and it was the home team who got the best in each contest. However, you look at the injuries that the Rams are dealing with in this contest, and that is going to make life tough when they're trying to go on the road and pull off the upset. I think the onus has to be on this Rams defense, led by defensive tackle Aaron Donald and cornerback Jalen Ramsey, as they need to go out there and make life tough for Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson. There's plenty of familiarity with both clubs heading into this contest, but I'm not sure if the Rams have enough in their arsenal to get it done. Thus, I'm going to take Seattle to hold serve at home by the score of 27-17. Now, tomorrow night in the nation's capital, you're going to have the 7-9 Washington football team, champions of the NFC East, hosting the 11-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa comes into this contest favored by 8 points. They're 11-5, and you could make a case that Tampa really has not played their best football so far this season. But make no mistake about it, you still have Tom Brady at quarterback, and what we've learned over the years, you simply do not bet against number 12 in the postseason. You look at this Washington club, and I think this contest comes down to their defensive line trying to be able to slow down this Bucs passing game, led by Defensive Rookie of the Year Chase Young. It's going to be on Washington to try to go out there and slow the Bucs down. But I think the Bucs are going to mix things up with screen passes, quick passes to their wide receivers, and put the stress on this secondary. But make no mistake about it, I do not see Washington having the firepower on offense to score enough points to go out there and pull off the upset. Thus, I'm going to take Tampa on the road by the score of 28-17. Now, moving on to Sunday afternoon, it's going to be the 11-5 Tennessee Titans, champions of the AFC South, hosting the 11-5 Baltimore Ravens. And make no mistake about it, there is absolutely no love lost between these two clubs. We saw last year in the divisional round, it was the Titans who went on the road and upset the Ravens, who had the best record in the AFC. We saw earlier this season where the Titans drew the ire of the Ravens when they went to Baltimore and danced on their team logo at midfield prior to this contest. However, the Titans would rally in overtime to win that game. You look at both of these clubs, they look to run the football. Of course, Lamar Jackson at quarterback for Baltimore, and then, of course, Derrick Henry, who just capped off a 2,000-yard rushing season for the Tennessee Titans. I think this game is going to come down to defense because both of these clubs are going to go out there and look to establish their power running game. So who's going to step up and be the first team to make something happen and force the other team to get off of their game? I think a big thing for Baltimore in this contest, Lamar Jackson has to show that he can make some passes in the pocket with his arm. It's a situation where Lamar is 0-2 in the postseason in his young career, but he definitely has something to prove, and he's got to get it done with his arm in this contest. However, if you look at the history of both of these teams going up against each other in the postseason, it's always the road team which is won. I think that trend continues. Baltimore definitely wants revenge, and they want, if you're Lamar Jackson, you want to get overcome that hurdle of not being able to win a playoff game. I think he does that. I think the Ravens do that, and they get the 26-23 victory. Now, it's going to be the 12-4 New Orleans Saints, champions of the NFC South, hosting the 8-8 Chicago Bears. And for the Bears, they were a Jekyll and Hyde team all season long. They started off strong. They were 5-1. They lost 6 in a row, and then they rallied to get the last wild card spot in the NFC. Mitchell Trubisky, he hasn't had a great career at quarterback for the Bears, but he is playing the best football of his brief career. However, you're asking Mitchell Trubisky to go on the road in New Orleans and go up against a very tough Saints defense, which will not be easy. Drew Brees is back at quarterback for New Orleans, and this more than likely will be his last hurrah. And after going out in the first round last season at home, courtesy of another NFC North team in the Minnesota Vikings, I don't see it happening for a second time. Thus, I'm going to take the Saints big at home by the score of 34-20. And finally, on Sunday night, it's going to be the 11-5 Cleveland Browns traveling to take on the 12-4 Pittsburgh Steelers, champions of the AFC North. Both of these clubs met last Sunday in Cleveland, and without Big Ben Roethlisberger, Cleveland was able to escape Pittsburgh with a 24-22 victory and thus claim their first playoff berth since 2002. Believe it or not, the last 2 times that the Browns made the playoffs, in 2002 and also in 1994, they had to go on the road and face the Pittsburgh Steelers, and each time they came up on the short end of the stick. No Kevin Stefanski as head coach for the Browns, as he is out after testing positive for COVID. So this Browns team has to find a way to rally. This is Baker Mayfield's first time in the playoffs for the Browns, but he can't try to take over the game himself at quarterback. He's got to go out there, shed his gunslinger mentality, and just try to shorten the game by handing the football off consistently to both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. But I look at this Pittsburgh team. They finished with a whimper after beginning the year 11-0. They lost 4 out of their last 5. I know that Roethlisberger did not play last week, but they definitely had to have some confidence being that Mason Rudolph was out there, and they still were able to almost pull off the win. Pittsburgh is definitely going to try to get their passing game going to the likes of Chase Claypool and Juju Smith-Schuster. And I think this opportunistic Pittsburgh defense, especially in the secondary with the likes of Minkah Fitzpatrick, is going to be on top of their game as they look to slow down the Browns. This is going to be a back and forth affair. Cleveland is not going to back down without a fight, but I think Pittsburgh gets it done at home by the score of 31-24. So those are my picks for the wild card round here in the NFL season. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast. I want to thank all of the subscribers out there. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy the first round of the playoffs.